Shroud. Judy Powell and Joanna Scott. Come on down, ladies. It's been a long day.
Wow, hello. This is Joanna Scott from Parent Guidance Center, Executive Director. I just want to take 30 seconds to tell you that what this lady just said to you is what we've been dealing with parents, advocating for them in this state for the last 10 years. This is not an anomaly. She's not crazy. This stuff really happens. You have corruption pockets in various counties. It's connected to coroners, it's connected to commissioners' courts, it's connected to CPS caseworkers, it's connected to police departments, it's connected to adoption rings, it's connected to the attorneys, these sexual abuse rings. There's things happening that are facilitated because there's no accountability in this system called Child Protective Services in the state of Texas. I have seen records like this for the last 10 years. I have experienced personally being hunted down and chased down by caseworkers. I have had my house, shrubs cut down. I've had dead animals put on the back porch. I moved to Austin from a corrupt county because of the exact same stories of what's happened to this lady and the fact that two parent advocates out here are trying to bring this to the front and let people know this is really happening to parents. It really is. And it's serious business, and it's actually deadly. And we have one client dead to show for it as well. It's serious, and it's big, and it's bad, and it's mean. And if the legislators don't sit up in their seats and start taking notice of those stories and stop thinking it's an anomaly, it cannot stop. Something has to change. And I got a few recommendations to hopefully help some of that maltreatment in the system.
You told us 30 seconds.
Well, you know, I got 7 points here. I'm just going to line them out because, you know, I'm hungry too. I haven't eaten all day. Number one, I believe that the department, when they place a child, should never require a child to call a foster parent mom or dad. This is the first insult to the relationship between the child and the foster parent. Okay? It's required not by the department. It's not some strange thing, and it's not required by service providers, but it's this weird thing that's allowed for some reason in these homes. They just make them call them mom and dad, or they'll...
Some of them.
A lot of them. And it should never be forced on a child, ever, 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 because it's the first emotional abuse, besides the trauma of removal, that the child experiences maltreatment in the system. Secondly, definitely going back to the third-party ombudsman, independent. The Office of Consumer Affairs, in my 10 years experience of what we've been doing, never once, count it, has ever helped a family that has reported the abuse of their child. This is our cases. I'm not talking about, hey, maybe they did something good for somebody, but every single time we tell them, report it, and they get their nice, neat little letter that says it's been investigated by the department itself, and nothing, there's a determination that nothing really happened. That's the letter that our parents get every single time they report the maltreatment of their own children in foster care. Number three.
You have copies of some of these letters?
Of the parents' letters? Mm-hmm. It's a form letter. Ask the department. It looks the same every time. It looks the same every time.
No, but I want to know if you have copies of these letters.
I don't keep my parents' client parents' records.
Would the parents provide you copies of these letters?
They would if I ask them. I mean, they show me the letters, so.
Well, you know, it
Definitely
would be helpful to see, because sometimes, you know.
And I've been testifying about it for years too, so it's not new to some of the people. The Office of Consumer Affairs, in my opinion, is pretty worthless. Number three, compare the restraint reports from the service providers with what the children are actually saying. And then compare that to the actual records that you can look up, because they're supposed to self-report, but they don't a lot of times. And so if you compare what the child is telling you with what the record is saying, there's a discrepancy there. You can say, okay, somebody's not telling the truth here. Either the child is being restrained or not. And if they aren't being restrained, why are they saying they're being restrained? And all of these, the testimony that we've heard today is all of them were restrained, so I think there's some restraining going on, but the records don't reflect that. Tyrone's records, there's no restraint records. According to the records, he was never restrained. It's just not there, and it's supposed to be. So that would help in accountability. Also allow these children in the system to do anonymous reporting. Hey, anybody in Texas can report anybody else. Let them do anonymous reporting via phone numbers. I like the juvenile department's ideas, but let them do it anonymously because they are afraid of that retaliation. Let them do it on the internet because they're all tech savvy. Let them do it on a cell phone app, something like that. Also, we can establish an analytical pattern finder for service providers and residential operations. So we can see, just like some of the former foster youth were saying, that certain establishments out there, certain foster homes and certain residential providers, the stories are the same coming out of those places. Okay, so we can see a pattern if we have, use our technology, our analysis.
Joanna, could you wrap up, please?
Sure, I've got two more things. Then also, I believe...
No, could you wrap up? I know you have two more things, but could you wrap up? Your time went off some time ago.
Providing monthly reports to y'all about the number of removals in your specific counties, because those kids are your constituents, and also, I think, providing the legislators a report of the violations of maltreatment, not the reports of maltreatment, not the substantiated maltreatment, but the reports of maltreatment that come in from your actual districts of the kids that are in foster youth, because that's your constituents if they're placed in your district, and you also have the representative component from the removal home. So I think we could have double coverage in a lot of places since most of the kids don't stay in their actual districts.
Thank you.
Rename the Office of Consumer Affairs, something that kids understand.
Members, do you have any questions of Ms. Scott? No? Okay. Judy.
And I promise I'll be brief. She's long-winded.
She's long-winded?
Yeah.
I'm a professor, short. That's what I
know. She, like she said, in 10 years of doing this work, down on the ground with families and in several legislative sessions, for me, there's not one former foster youth that has not experienced or reported that they experienced some sort of abuse or neglect in the foster care system. What this means is that our reporting system, no matter what the department says on paper or in policy, is obviously not working. And most of us, most have stated that they did report. Like most of the kids say they at least reported the first time, but then nothing happened, so big fat why bother, or like some of the kids were saying, they just say, well, this is everybody. We're all going to get this done to us. So, whether they reported to a judge, COS, or whatever, the system's not working to trigger some sort of investigation. These kids are talking, obviously. We have other testimony. But the system and all its players are just not listening. They are not listening and not believing these kids, okay? And then some are actually getting covered up. So instead of relying on the scared victim to report or some former foster youth that need, like to the caseworkers and stuff, I think that we need to start asking the right questions. A lot of times you'll go, like some of the kids talked about, well, they talked in a group setting, I wasn't alone. If you had the caseworker asking the right kind of questions, like, oh, does this happen? Not leading, especially the younger ones, but if you ask better questions, not, hey, how are you doing? Is it great? Okay, everything's cool. See ya next month. You need to ask the right kind of questions to these kids to draw out. They don't trust you, the caseworker. They don't trust the attorney. Nobody cares. So if you trained them to ask better questions, I think you'd get the real answers. And the second problem is that sometimes when they do report, it gets a little jumbled up with their case. Oh no, that wasn't current sexual abuse. Like in the Florida Bajarona case, everyone kept insisting that was the biological dad. That's what happened to the little girl. Every time she talks about the adoptive parent, no, that's the biological, it's all jumbled up in the case. You have to listen to the kids and what they're actually saying and not make assumptions. So, again, the recommendation of the Ombudsman's office, Ombudsman, crazy word, kids don't understand it, so let's call it something that kids, at least in their paperwork, that they can understand. Also, treat complaints about foster parents with the same scrutiny that you would do on a biological parent, with the same investigational scrutiny. Right now, the kids that report are not necessarily whisked away to a nice, child advocacy center and gotten a proper interview. So we need to do that. Cross-train child care licensing and abuse and neglect investigations. I think they need to know both. I'm not sure if they do. It doesn't seem like they do. And then also train those, like I just said, to ask the right questions. So, perfect. Wow. I got it. That's it. Thank you.
777s. Thank you.